Maul or nothing.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Maul or Nothing with Ryan and Max, coming a tiny bit late because we definitely wanted to encompass the first two games down under of the British and Irish Lions, back-to-back 50s. The Lions routing the Reds on Wednesday. Boys, how are we? Firstly, where is everybody?
Apologies, boys. My internet's a little bit off. We've found out there's two Wi-Fis. I'm still in Béziers. I'm still down in the south of France with the family. I don't think I'm coming back, I'll be honest. I don't think there's any need for me to come back. This is me. I could just settle in down here forever.
Dreamy, is it? What have you been up to? How have you been entertaining the sprogs?
I'll be honest. It's hard work. It is hard work. Mark, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you're a stay-at-home dad.
Shut up. Although I'm literally, Louise is away working in London this week, and I'm on my own with the kids this week. But yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Falls a lot, and especially when they're just mental. So we've been up to all sorts. It's been nice in times, but it's I could probably do with a holiday after this holiday. That's for sure. But sunk a fair few frozen margaritas, a lot of rosé. I am basically turning into a saucisson, Max. Oh my! I've just lived off of saucisson.
What, like the nice cured one? You just slice it up, bit of cheese, some red wine.
Every single day. And one of my favourite things actually is to go to the supermarket. Gives me
the greatest supermarkets in the planet.
It's best supermarket ever. The fish counter, mate.
The produce is just phenomenal.
I bought a kilo of fresh prawns yesterday, right, for €8 for a kilo of fresh big prawns with the heads on, cooked them on the barbie. It's just like, what am I doing living in Scotland? Idiot, absolute idiot. But also it gives you a little bit of respite when you go to the shops, get a little bit of quiet time. Just wander around, just mose about the shops. It's bloody lovely. Absolutely delightful. Max, bigger question here is, where's the fucking mullet gone?
I've had enough, lads. I'd had enough. I just couldn't do it anymore. It was hot. I was getting frustrated with the amount of follicles just hanging and dangling off my scalp. I just went straight to the Kurdish. I was like, boss man, just take it all off. Liberate my scalp.
Give us a spin. Give us a spin, because for those listening and not watching, he has gone for the full crew cut. Oh, very nice. I'll tell you what.
GI Max.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh.
I like it a lot. You got a strong hairline for it as well. So yeah, I'm liking it. But the mullet society are not going to be happy with you.
They're not going to be happy. But it had its day, it had its time, and it was fun. It was fun whilst it lasted. It's on to something new. Maybe, I don't know what to do next. I'll have this for a little bit, enjoy pre-season, get through the heat, and then I'll do something else funky.
Do you remember when you dyed that blonde once? Remember when you peroxide that?
Yeah, I used to peroxide it, but I don't know if I can be asked to do that again.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
So you're an adult, aren't you? So don't do that.
Yeah. You're a grown man.
You're a grown man. What are you doing?
You're not Chris Mark. No.
Should we just check where Mark is? Because I'm pretty sure he's on holiday again.
Yes, but as I said, I had to because Louise is away. So we're in Koh Samui. It's very nice. Very nice.
Sorry, you had to go on holiday because your wife was away.
Well, otherwise it really is quite a lot of work. So then.
So you're in Koh Samui?
Yeah, very nice. They are.
Oh, what's it like?
The kids club. Right, so it's really lovely. I mean, it's all the best bits of Thailand, but it's perhaps just a little bit less touristy than Phuket. But it's super duper nice. But
whereabouts in Koh Samui are you? No. Let's not talk about rugby. Whereabouts in Koh Samui are you?
In what way? Whereabouts?
Are you at the top? Are you bottom? You like boat?
I could not even tell you. I think I'm on the west. Oh yeah, I'm on the west side. I'm like a quiet side.
The west.
The west.
Very
the
quiet
west.
Over on the west. Yeah. I was more Chaweng.
Of course you were, mate.
Yeah, Chaweng.
Of course you were. Getting your wang out in Chaweng.
Ping pong.
None of that. Funny enough, I'm not inducting the kids into their first ever
connection went
run
at the wrong time.
Ping pong shows. Just a quick question before we dive into a lot of rugby. You leading a glamorous lifestyle, Ryan, Monaco, Dubai, Hong Kong, finest golf courses up and down the land for scrum to scratch. You've been living it up in Béziers. But you did go to Eurocamp. How was that?
Voluntary prison. And I should have listened to your wise words when I phoned you, Mark. Well, they weren't that wise. You said, it'll be okay as long as you pretty much give yourself gout. But
exact words.
It's exactly like you just said there, though. All 4 kids in this house, 1 swimming pool. It's only a tiny little village. It's beautiful and it's lovely, but they need something else to do. So we thought, take them down to Eurocamp. Oh, my God. Why people go on holiday there, I don't know. But do you know, some people camp go in a tent in 38 degrees heat, in a tent, Max.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I did think it was going to be rather like a French gypsy site. It was just a basic Irish traveller site, to be honest, because it was just this must have been a direct flight from Cork to Béziers, because it was just full of Irish. Couldn't believe it. A lot of GAA shirts and a lot of shitting in the pool. 2 days in a row, Max. The pool was out of order because somebody kept shitting in it.
That sounds horrible.
But they lock it off. They literally it shuts the entire, and you're talking like hundreds and hundreds of people all going there to go, and then they just shut it down because someone's just laid a cable in the pool.
I do joke. I like it. Listen, I do get what it is. It's actually not that bad, right? It's not that bad. We went for the premium caravan, so it wasn't too bad. But it's just, if that happens, then they move everyone from that one pool to the smaller pool. So you've got now like 600 Irish people just in this little pool. I don't know why I'm slagging off the Irish. They were all lovely and fine. And I know we've got a lot of Irish people on here, but it was just weird that you're all the way down in the south of France. And it was just like, you were almost in Ireland, in a boiling hot country. They purposely don't put out brollies by the pool so that you then just basically burn. They want you to not spend as much time there as possible. Yeah. They're like, move on, no drinking or eating by the pool, which I sort of respect. And the one thing I was really gutted about is I thought you were meant to wear budgie smugglers. I thought France, it was like, I thought there was the rule. You had to wear
that is so funny because it's such a classic thing when you go to Europe, because it says you have to. It's like a hygiene thing. And I said to my wife, I said to Lise, because we're going on a family thing there, I was like, I'll go to this thing and I won't complain. I promise. I'll just sit, eat saucisson, drink some rosé. And I said, but I'm not wearing budgie smugglers to go all day in the pool. I just wait. I'll take the fine, whatever it might be. It's not real, is it, Matt? Is it, Ryan? It's just everybody else. No.
I still wore my budgie smugglers. Why is that a thing, Max? Why are rugby players so obsessed with budgie smugglers? Because I don't think any other sport's like that, is it?
It just got into the culture early, didn't it? And then it's just stuck. It's really been a fixture, but maybe that's changing. I don't know.
I don't know if it is. Look at Alfie Barbary, mate. The celebrations of him and those budgie smugglers, just with the worst rig ever. And that's what budgie smuggler want. They promote. They don't want
ordinary rig. Yeah,
they want the ordinary rig, and he is he's just such a great ambassador for budgie smuggler.
For ordinary rigs.
I mean, yeah, he's still not ordinary rig, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it looked pretty ordinary, but mate, in terms of celebrations, he has kicked the arse out of it. Like that.
He's still going. He did Glastonbury.
Yeah, you want to see that. You want to see that in rugby. Not many footballers could get away with that. Whereas rugby, we're still in that era where you can still get away with going and completely kicking the arse out of it, wearing budgie smugglers. Like shoe choice, socks and sandals. Mark, you slagged me off for my Birkenstocks the other day. Did you see him? Like proper Velcro socks and sandals at Glastonbury. I was loving it. Absolutely loving it. Good on the man.
Brilliant. Right, let's crush into the Lions.
No, we've got to check on Max's injury first.
Oh, that is true. Thank you.
Injury update.
Injury update. It's only because he already told me, but
I'm off the crutches. I'm sort of in and out of the boot now. Done a bit of rehab. Had a decent session yesterday. Foot's feeling fine for it, so we're going ahead with it, lads. It's going well. It's going very well.
Are you coming to us?
That's a wait and see, Ryan. Basically, he said yes if you hit certain markers on your rehab.
Oh, that's it. Right. You rehab away, my dear friend. You rehab away and make sure you're on that plane.
It's not a yes. Sadly, I thought it was a yes, but now it's not. It's not for definite. So I just need to get.
I'm going to have a word with Uncle Pat.
Yeah, you might have to get on the blur, but it is what it is.
Right, okay.
But we're seeing, but Gary and Joe are going to be, talk about the reason that the boys, for those who've just tuned into our show, are going across to Australia is for a very good friend of both of theirs' wedding out there, and they are going to be at all 3 tests. So we're going to be seeing them throughout. I'm meeting up with them in Brizzy in a couple of weeks. So anyway, right, just a quick one not a quick one. Let's start with the ruthless, refined routing of the Reds, if you will, by our wonderful Lions. Fellas, what were your thoughts? Most complete performance so far, yeah?
There's still some glaring.
Okay, that's why you're the pros.
So we'll go the aerial restart game. I think, like receiving kicks, it's looking sketchy, boys. Duhan got himself out of some trouble with some monstrous manhandling, but I don't know. Restarts and kick receipt not looking so good. Scrum, Andrew Porter was on the sort of wrong end of the penalties in terms of the refs' perception of what was going down. I thought he was a bit hard done by on a few. In my opinion, I thought he was just bending the bloke, and Jeff was just struggling, and he kind of was going to the floor a little bit too early for me. But yeah, it's just not looking good on paper. Line out, getting there, but still sputtering a little. So yeah, it's not all sunshine and roses.
Wait, could you just put that in context to the uninitiated, how important restarts and kick receipts are?
So restarts essentially are becoming another form of set piece, because a coach can organize his whole attack and clean exits and attacking out of his own half, because he knows where everyone's going to be. It's completely definitive. That's why it's becoming such a crucial part of the game. Being able to do like clean kick receipts gives you a good platform to exit the ball effectively with the right players in the right positions to chase it, with the right players to kick it, or with the right players to play out of your half. That's why it's become so there's so much scrutiny on being able to kick receipt and how well you restart the game.
On that point though, Max, you think about like all those bits of the kickoffs, the kick receipts, the line outs that are a little bit clunky, and you hear the pundits talk about it. The pundits we will come back to, some of the commentators. There's a few question marks there as well around the set piece. There's question marks around the set piece. There's question marks about some of that. But they talk about it, time on field. Apparently, so this is what I'm starting to try to get the grips with. There's not a huge amount of time on field. So suddenly when you do get that time, because they're traveling, you think Monday to a Wednesday, trying to travel around, get to all these games, you don't get a huge amount of time on the field together. They're the bits that are going to probably take the biggest kicking. It's like they're trying to get the attack shape in place. They're trying to get defense in place. There's a lot of stuff to try and get together. So now I don't know. It's almost like when I was watching it, I was looking at it going, I understand why they play so many games now. To build up to those 3 tests, this is effectively them training when they go against these teams. They shouldn't lose against these club teams. They're the best of Britain and Ireland. And so when you look at it, you almost got to take it as, this is how I see it anyway. When they're playing these games at the moment against the Reds, against the Western Force, it's almost training, isn't it? That's where you've got to then start to get your combinations right. And that's when you see then Bundy Aki playing with Hugh Jones, because they're never going to get an opportunity to do it again. They'll try it out, but there's no point playing Sione Tuipulotu with Hugh Jones. We know it works. We know that is going to click. If you put Finn, Sione and Hugh together, it just works. We know it works. So they want to try out the different combinations just in case it comes to it. But with all that sort of stuff, line-outs, kick receipts, kickoffs, I suppose when you're watching it in these games, this is where they're having to actually trial it, because they're not going to get a massive amount of time. A walkthrough is a walkthrough, isn't it? And that's what they'll be doing.
Yeah, but it's also your test spots up for grabs. Do you know what I mean? So that there is gravity to these games for sure. So it's interesting. But yeah, I agree. You're absolutely right. There's the lack of cohesiveness is real, but you just got to make it as you go.
So with that in mind, though, did we feel that because you mentioned also, because how difficult is that part versus the defense, which in this particular instance was phenomenal. From an amateur viewpoint, it felt as though the Felix Jones's kind of footprints were all over that, and that it was 2 second half shutouts, both in Perth and both against the Reds as well.
What does impress me, like this, it's always the second half. They grind away, like you said, mate. They're a bit stuttery in the first half, and you look at it and go, "Oh, hold on a minute, what's going to happen here?" But they just managed to close out games. I guess that's international experience as well.
So we've talked about the issues that they've had, and in terms though of some individual performances, I think we saw in the shape of Jac Morgan, who is now the lone Welshman on tour. Man of the match, breakdown steals, a try, dominant carries, fast becoming undroppable for the tests, are we thinking?
Yeah, he's the guy. I think he's the guy right now, for sure. What about him and Grey White Pollock are looking indispensable in some respects. But yeah, Jac's performance was wild.
You're having, so you'd have him and Pollock starting?
I'd definitely have Pollock in the 23.
In the 23, yeah.
I've had him off the bench, but it's interesting because like who's what would you have? Him, Conan? You have Morgan, Conan, and Byrne right now.
It's a tough one, isn't it? We've just written Van der Fleer off,
and Curry, and
this is the Lions, isn't it? Some boys are feelings hurt. It's tough.
It is bloody mental. But you're right. Like, just looking at Morgan, I think the fact that he's the only Welsh player left in there gives him a little bit more as well.
Yeah, the patriotic ownership of making it the British and Irish Lions. Yeah,
I got to be in there. Otherwise.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. It's like, you imagine all the Welsh fans travelling over to go and watch, and they're like, we've got no Welsh players in there. So I genuinely believe. People might think this sounds crazy. I genuinely believe that'll be something in Farrell's mind. It'll be like, well, he's the only person representing Wales here. We've got to have him in.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, but more games, and we'll see how the terrain lies in terms of selection. But Barrett Rowe's tough, man. Oh my goodness, it's hard.
But sorry, just on that point, he's played himself in there. It's not the fact that he's Welsh and the only Welshman. He's played himself in there. He's been outstanding, and Farrell actually said it after the game. He said, "I can't believe how good he's been. He's been, incredible." So, and he brings a certain amount of leadership as well. So Jac Morgan is one of them. Like, probably stapled his name on match day 23. Let's keep ourselves safe, Max.
Yeah, let's just
match
chill.
day 23.
Yeah. Match day 23 is all right.
Speaking of leadership, Mario Itoje, he was scoring, disrupting, dominating the breakdown. He sort of looked, he was everywhere, full of energy, played the whole 80, didn't come off.
Plays 80s for Sarries all year as well. 80s for England. Yeah, it's mental. It's wild. The metronomic effort of the man is incredible. And he's still looking bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Second game in into the Lions. Third game in, sorry. So, yeah, plays to the bloke. It's that John off Rice. Crazy, man. Wow.
But the fact, so let's say, because Ty Burns played very well when he's played, but will we see him at 6 more? They've got to have a heavyweight in there, so like a Chesham as well.
Joe McCarthy was insane in Western Force, right?
Yeah.
But so the fact that he's got to play well, Mario Itoje. He has to play well, because the fact that he's captain, does that make him? Is he just selected for the Test match?
Yes.
So that's it. He's a guaranteed starter because he's the captain. Because I got to say, I did like Sheehan as captain the other day. I thought he was incredible against the Western Force. And you look at the other second rows. If they play out their skin like McCarthy did, who I think at the moment is Itoje and McCarthy, and that's why I think Ty Burn is probably a good shout for going at 6, because maybe shores up the line out a little bit more as well.
Line out option.
But again, Itoje, for me, he's lived up to it. He's played well. It's just when I think of like those inspirational captains talks with like Paul O'Connell and that, and Martin Johnson, and you listen to them, I just don't get the same vibe from Itoje.
Yeah, you're talking Hollywood. There's different types of captains, and also you're surrounded by incredible leaders. So there'll be lots of different people talking.
I know.
Do we feel Jac Conan has himself also played his way in terms of, you know, that the glue and kind of balancing Morgan's dynamism and you know, he had a lot of key carries, defensive contributions, a lot of link-up play as well. Would we say that's his to lose now, the number 8 spot?
Well, he was the only sort of specialist 8, wasn't he? Selected effectively. So everyone else was sort of a 7.5, 6.5 kind of vibe. So it's interesting, yeah. But from that first 40, especially, it looked like he was the guy who could do those hard carries, especially Reds bringing some big heat at contact. Like physically, the Reds looked superb, and they really kept up with the Lions for a while. So, and his like carries, despite like the meters made, it was just like the nature of his carries. A lot of them were in like heavy traffic, and you need those sort of attritional carries, and you need to be able to get good platform off those attritional carries for the rest of your game to operate well. And I think Jac Conan's a big figurehead for that, and he does it for Ireland, he does it for Leinster. Yeah, I think I'd be pretty sure that he'd be in. I'd like to see him in there.
Yeah, Mark, you were at the Western Force game, weren't you?
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
What was the atmosphere like?
I think it subdued, not because of anything more than everybody. It's like going to something where you know what the result will be, and I think because of the way the Western Force, you know, they're not exactly in the rugby union heartland, I guess, in Perth, and also the fact that they were 9th out of 11 in Super Rugby. They only had a couple of players that were released back from the Wallabies. So all of that combined. That said, whilst it definitely were more Lions supporters, whenever the Western Force did anything, you could really feel the stadium kind of lighting up. It's a really nice, I don't know, the vibes were just nice. You know, you could get seltzers in. So even everybody was hungover, was just able to get themselves, you know, back onto it. It was a good crack.
Do you know what? Like in looking at it, I think I saw Tom English the other day flick through the newspaper in Australia, and he was like, "Just going to have a little look at the Lions news. You know, headline tonight: the Lions play against the Western Force." And he goes, page after AFL, and it just keeps going. And keeps going. It's like 9 pages deep, and there's just a little thing of Nick White talking about playing against the Lions. That's it. That is it.
Yeah.
So you reckon as it moves sort of, Max, where would the biggest sort of rugby heartland be? Is it more Brisbane, Melbourne? Is it going to be Sydney?
It'll be ACT and Brisbane just gone, and Sydney. Those are the 3 sort of big hubs for union.
A lot of people weren't sure that the game was on. You're just sort of chatting to randoms, and you know, you sort of go, "I'm here for the Lions," and they're like, "Huh?" And you're like,
"Wow, what are you in?
What the fuck is that?" You're like, "Oh, cool." Anyway, I'll just get a drink. Cheers, mate.
Mental. But, absolutely mental. Let's just, I know we've talked briefly off air and we had some issues just with us getting on. Daly, for me, and like all the stats, 11 back-to-back match day 23s of the Lions. What an incredible stat that is. Like, how did that just sort of drift under the radar? That's the sort of player he is. He's not like your big name player, but he just gets it done. He has been so good, boys. And that's, we haven't done a pod since Tomos Williams for me the other day. He almost put his name in the match day 23, pulls that hammy, goes out, absolutely gutted for him. Well, another one for me, Daly, when you're watching it, you're going, yeah, definitely, like, match day 23 needs to be in there. One of the players that just sort of came in under the radar. We talked about him. You know, he's been there, he's done it. He just gets the job done. And there's chat of him now being out injured, right? Broken arm?
Broken arm. It looks like he is. His tour is over. Now, the more interesting bit is that it appears as though Owen Farrell, and I've got it now on a couple of things I got it on our BBC feed, and a couple of, and it will be Owen Farrell that will be coming out to Australia.
He's meant to be doing fucking punditry. He's meant to be on fucking TV. It's Sky Sports. What fucking let him? Maybe he's going to be mic'd up in the warm-ups. Maybe he's going to be in there. Maybe Sky Sports knew and they thought, let's get him on the pundit stuff and then we can dip in and dip out. We have a player inside the camp.
How good. Buzzing for Faz if that's the case. And heartbroken for Elliot because he is some boy and I'm gutted because I think it shouldn't really just go under the radar though, right? I know what you mean though. He's sort of Mr. Ubiquitous in some regards, but he's been doing it since day one.
Yeah.
Since he turned professional, all those years ago it was. He's always been Mr. Teflon Don. He's just been classy. A Renaissance back can do it all at every level with just aplomb. So
Do you know what I like about him as well? As I've been at a few weddings where he's been.
yeah, he
and
gets
yeah.
Is he like the sauces?
Yeah, good boy.
Yeah. Very good boy. So you know what I mean? That just puts him up there a little bit more. You're like, yeah, good bloke as well. Likes to do it hard. Yeah, gutted for him, but that is massive if Iron Farrell goes out there. I mean, who else could there have been? What were the other options? Utility backs.
Go on, Ryan. Say your favourite player. Do it now.
Go on. Come on, mate. Give him a shout out.
Tom Jordan's just over the way. He's just over the way.
It's interesting. You brought him up. Yeah.
Oh, come on, get in the comments. Ryan only wants Scottish people in there. Do you know what? We've got too many out there at the moment, actually. Sorry to you lot that you get upset, but I would give an opportunity to someone like Tom Jordan, who's about to play the Maori All Blacks, which will be pretty cool. Scotland going up against the Maori All Blacks this weekend as well. He's just over the way, but listen, Owen Farrell, I genuinely think it's not a bad option, is it, boys? It's not a bad option.
It's not an awful option. Redemption arc being achieved, that'd be awesome.
But, boys, does that put a tiny bit of pressure on the fact that now it means we've got our favourite friend of the show in Schmog, who's made his way across. We'll talk a little bit about the Top 14 final later, but he obviously partied hard. He's there for us. He's always been the starting 15, and it's a straight shootout. Hugo Keenan, who is ill but will get his first feature of the tour in the next game, is what we hear. But that with Elliot Daly gone and potentially not bringing in a fullback, is there a risk there? Do we think?
Yeah, I think there's loads of fullbacks, isn't there?
Who else apart from Keenan and Blair Kinghorn?
Keenan, Schmog, Freeman played fullback before. Marcus Smith, he plays 15.
Yes, okay.
I like Marcus Smith at 15, by the way. I actually like Marcus Smith at 15. Also, Hugh Jones plays a bit at 15. Played for Quins at 15 for a fair while. I think he did pretty much half a season at 15 for Quins. Obviously not his out and out, but no, I think they've got enough 15s there. But listen, we know who's going to start 15. Schmog. He's just won the Top 14, boys. He couldn't have been involved then. Did you see they were like, got him on the microphone. What you up to? He's like, just get the spin, the travel out the legs. I'm like, the travel? Get the travel out the legs. That is the fucking, you've been on the sauce hard. That must be a difficult one, just winning the Top 14 for the first time.
As well.
And then sort of having it in the back of your mind. I know it is going on a British and Irish Lions tour. It's a massive occasion, but also there's a little bit he's like, fuck, I don't get to properly celebrate with the boys,
Yeah, you see like Jack Willis and Rumour in the fountain with the trophy, and you're just like, yeah.
Oh, you got a good snog in with Jack Willis, though. Did you see that? That was the photo that went around the world.
I'm enjoying how many people are kicking off about Jack Willis not being on Lions tour. Just like pseudo reality.
It's nuts, though, right? You can dominate in, arguably the same level of intensity match against absolute gun team that are Bordeaux, and yet somehow not even weirdly. I mean, we always said it, right? We always said that we thought Jack Willis should be out there, but that's got to be gutting for him. Did you see also that Blair? He was supposed to catch a flight in the morning. They were like, the 9 a.m. flight is caught a later flight that day, apparently, the day after, to get out to Australia. So he has been enjoying himself thoroughly.
Can we just say, he will play this weekend, won't he? Because we're going to almost preview the Waratahs game. It's Thursday today. The Waratahs are coming up. So in terms of that, I think people want to see Blair start at 15, right?
Yeah, but Hugo Keenan hasn't played either.
It's true. but neither's Blair.
No, but what I mean is you can't have both of them starting at 15. That doesn't work. I know I'm not a pro or ex-pro, mate, but I'm pretty sure that's not possible.
All right, well, let's see whether it was an illness or whether he's still injured, Hugo Keenan. But I think, well, to put it this way, I've played through some sickness, and I would play through some sickness for a Lions match. I would. There's a lot of things you can take to get through sickness.
I bet there's loads of stuff. I was hoping you're going to tell us what you would do to start to play for the Lions, and I just think I think you'd go so niche and gritty for what you would. What would you do to play for the Lions?
I mean, it depends what sort of illness, Max. But you know what I mean. You'd be lining the budgie smugglers with Tampax just in case you shit your pants if it's that end. You'd just be getting through it. Cocodamol and Diorolite with a. And do you know what I mean? The other end, it's just anti-sickness pills. There's injections for that. You're fine. You're fine. So I don't know. I think it could be an injury. Anyway, we'll see one of them play. I need to speak to you after this, Max, about my training regime. It's not going very well. I'm starting to worry a little bit, but that's another point. So let's carry on.
The other thing, of course, and this is now probably arguably with the back row a real tricky call for Andy Farrell, is the wing debate, in as far as all 4-5 wingers, if you will, have all performed at some point so far in the tour very, very well. Tommy Freeman, James Lowe, Duhan van der Merwe, Mac Hansen, a point of difference when he came on. Where do you guys feel the test? And don't give me a test 23. Don't want any of that bollocks.
I'm not. No, Max, give me your thoughts because I'll let you go first on this.
Tommy Freeman and James Lowe. I just think Duhan and Mac have looked a little bit just not as assertive as those two. Those two have looked quite they just look finished. Whereas Duhan in defence and sort of positionally, he's looked a little bit shaky, and then Max had a few errors. He's slipped through a few tackles. I just think Tommy and James Lowe are the guys right now. They just look so sublime.
James Lowe, guaranteed 15 starting winger without a shadow of a doubt. Not just the way that he carries the ball, also defensively he's pretty handy. But his kicking, mate, his kicking is so good. He's got that leg. It's so true. Deceptively massive boot, that big banana kick on him. He's just can get you out of so much shit. The other hand, Duhan almost, for me, has played himself out a little bit. And it's harsh to say, but I think he's made a fair few errors in defence. You mentioned that bouncing ball. There was the kick through. They grabbed it through, bounced off Finn. He should have put the body on the line, gone for it. I think he's almost played himself out. And I know it's bloody harsh to say, and he'll get another opportunity. But then you left with Freeman and Hansen. But like you said, both of them have had their errors. Freeman's made a fair few uncharacteristic high ball errors, which I was quite surprised at. So I reckon the other wings between Mac Hansen and Freeman, which I never thought I would even be saying Mac Hansen could potentially be starting a test. But the way that he played and the way that Farrell talks about him starts to give you a little bit of a look, and you go, oof, it could be an opportunity. He's there for a reason. Farrell likes him. Whether we think he should have been in there or not, Farrell likes him, and he's talked him up after the game and said what a selfless bloke he is, and what he's done for the team.
Also, he's a slightly different winger to
he's a classic.
There's similarities between Tommy Freeman and James Lowe, right? If we're talking in the kind of what they bring to the attacking play, whereas Mac Hansen is that, as we said, that point of difference and individual talent.
But saying that, at the moment, I'd go Freeman and Lowe.
Freeman and Lowe.
I'm with Max. Freeman and Lowe for me. They're probably the first sort of two wingers I'd have in there.
Okay, there we go. Mog, of course, can cover wing as well, as he did in the top 14 final. Right. So I mean, it is starting to shape up. Overall, right now, are we feeling positive going into Saturday's match?
Yeah. I think everything's going well. I think it's all growing in the right direction. I think everyone's sort of hitting their straps now. It should be quite interesting.
I think, Max, because it's been a bit disjointed. Leinster into a final, so they didn't get any of the Leinster players till then. You've obviously had players like Blair coming in late, and so it's been a little bit disjointed. Have they been like this before Lions tours? I don't know. That's a question for someone else to answer. But have the Lions ever lost one of these midweek games?
Yes.
Most of the time, they lose about one midweek game. In 2017, at the All Blacks tour, they lost to the Landers and the Blues, but both very, very close games. So, yeah, essentially, the Lions usually drop a game here and there. But you'd imagine this sort of caliber and the gulf between Australian rugby and the Northern Hemisphere right now, you'd expect that the Lions completely walk most of these Super Rugby franchises. I could see ACT Brumbies potentially putting up the sternest sort of contest, as they finished very highly this year in the Super Rugby. So,
and that's the fourth game out of the club teams, right? So that could be the one where they slip up, but you'd think they maybe have enough under the belt by then to go and do a job. And that's when you'll start to see the test team come together, because they've got the Anzac, haven't they? The Anzac team, which is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, no. So we don't see any issues coming up against the Tars this weekend. Straightforward. A few more people needing to put their hands up. Just quickly, Max, for me, in terms of the centres, where would you go? Because everyone was talked about it, Gibson Park and Finn Russell. I mean, it probably didn't click as much as we wanted it to. It wasn't like it didn't blow anyone away, but that is realistically, we're looking at that as the starting 9 and 10, right?
Mm-hmm. I thought Finn Smith really good when he came on, though. Like,
very good.
Contrasting style of play, super structured, just playmaking. Whereas with Finn, you've got that sort of enigmatic quality, which we all love and we know he's trademarked for. But with the centres, it's interesting because weirdly, Ringrose has been the most sort of consummate. And I'm a big fan of Gary. He's been great.
Mate, he ends himself, doesn't he?
Oh, mate, his tackling is preposterous, isn't it? He's like a javelin. The only problem is, because he does that so often, he does get the odd ding. Because he melts people out the line. And fair play to him. But,
well, that's it, because you don't. Well, I sometimes look at the games. I'm looking, going, I wonder who's like holding back because they don't want to get injured. You know, I just want to stay here for the whole tour, and whether you get that, but he's certainly not doing that. Oh my missile!
When we played Leinster like last season, he killed AJ in like the first 5 minutes. AJ was like spewing. He had to go off, and I was like, I thought it was a concussion. He was like, nah. My rib cage were just contorted. I couldn't.
Oh yes, I do. We were
there.
We
were at the game.
Yeah, we were at the game.
He just maimed him. I was like,
he wrote him off. Yeah,
Gary Ringrose, you horrible man. But
so you'd have him in there? Would you?
I just think right now, like Bundy looks. Don't get me wrong, Bundy's still got that like unplayable carnage, like in contact. Like for that Mario Itoje try, he was pretty much the reason that happened. Like he can charge up with the best of them. But again, is still looking a little clunky, isn't he? I don't know. There's a few errors to his game right now, especially right around the ball. He seems to be turning it over a fair bit.
A few things I've read, like people are saying, Tuipulotu, has he done enough? Like, I'm not sure. But I think Sione's been pretty. He's not blowing people away, but he's got the job done. He's got the balls out the back. His kicking game's been good. He's done everything that he needs to do. And it's weird because before the Western Force game, it was like, I read somewhere, it was like, who's played themselves out? And they put Sione Tuipulotu, and I watched the game and I thought, has he fuck? Yeah. So I wonder, will they play before, over the next 2 games, will they play Finn, Sione and Hugh, like I said at the beginning of this show?
See how that rolls, yeah.
Just to see how it rolls with everyone else, with a James Lowe, with a Freeman, you know?
Scotland centrepiece, that centre point of attack can sort of function with everyone else, with all the Alliance boys around them. But yeah, with Bundy though, what you got to recognise is his like big game mentality. We all know what happens when the bright lights are shining. Bundy Arquette turns up, he gets weird. So, and Faz knows that very well. He's very, very he understands that player. Hugh looked good. I thought Hugh had a quiet game. He just didn't have many opportunities. He's got that try, scored that try, and finished really well.
Boys, I was worrying as well because it obviously is Achilles hasn't been great. So when he's got that, you're like, I was sort of wanting to just slow down a bit. Just slow down, stop, don't go so hard.
He's got like tendinitis.
Yeah, and it's been pretty bad, but that tested it. He went full lick. and he got up to full lick, and he looked all good. So, tell you what, he's looking a bit bulky as well. I like the look of
because
Hugh Jones.
he bumped that Lachlan chap who's actually quite fast himself. He scored a lot of tries for.
And every time Shuggy's come on, like in the other games, and he's done some nice bits. You just need. That's what you get from Hugh Jones. It's not like 80 minutes of constant, like, there he is. It's just 3 or 4 big moments that just win you the game. That's what you get from Hugh Jones.
Yeah, but right now it's probably looking as, Sione Tuipulotu and Gary Ringrose might be the partnership, right?
Do you want me to aggravate our Leinster fans that come in here all the time and drop comments? Nah, no chance. It's going to be Hugh Pilotu. I know it is. It's going to be it.
Yeah, you're beating Hugh Pilotu, is it? That's you.
Yeah. I mean, why try and fix something that's not broke?
Flower. Anyway.
All Irish people, and the coach of the British and Irish Lions is quite aware of this, will probably be thinking, well, we've got a pretty good centre partnership ourselves that works. The old Ring-Aki or Aki Rose or whatever. So, do you know what I mean? It's there for it. In any case, from your perspective, this weekend, no issues. Who do we really want to see apart from Blair's first game? Who else do we really want to see kind of trying to put their stamp on their tour?
I want to see Blair just open up and get a good few touches of the ball, show his class. Like, for someone that's won a Champions Cup, top 14, made his mark down in France. Excited to see him go. In terms of, I don't know, like, front row is a bit of a weird one, Max. And do you know the other thing I was thinking as well, which I forgot to mention? The partnerships, right? Off the field. So have you seen some of the clips of Genji and Beelum where Beelum tries to go like, we've had some tough conversations, and and Genji's like, who the fuck have you had a tough conversation with? And he's like, doesn't know what to do with himself. Like those little connections that you start to see off the field, they come into play as well, because Will Stewart hasn't played his best game. So at the moment, I'm looking at that and going, Genji and Beelum could be this, the starting test players with Shin.
Argentina scrum as well, so it's interesting.
Well, Stewart didn't play badly, did we think, yesterday?
I don't think he had the best game.
He was solid, but it wasn't his best game. But he was solid. Like, I think most of the decisions were coming through Porter, but I felt bad for Porter. As I said before, I thought the ref was sort of on the wrong side of that. But also shout out to Aidan Ross, who was the loose head for Reds, who was playing for Chiefs in the playoffs and just came over to play that game for the fair play to them, like, just getting it
pretty done. Pretty cool. So yeah, no issues this weekend, I don't think, but you just want to see a bit more of a full team performance and sort out the kickoffs and kick receipts.
Good day, folks. Here at Maul or Nothing, we'd like to thank the people that have sponsored us from day one. Yes, the wonderful people at Wolf Craig Distillery. They've sponsored us through our inane ramblings, good times, epic pilgrimages of the piss, celebrating this great game, the game of egg chasing. Go to wolfcraig.com. That was weird. And pick yourself up a little something with the link. Ta-ta for now. See you next time. Fair dinkum.
Let's now just park the lines for a little bit, because we've talked a lot about them. Let's talk briefly about the Top 14 final. Gripping and yet heartbreaking for Bordeaux, but it's 3 in a row for Toulouse.
One of the greatest games ever, surely. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was so good. I was just sitting there, just minding my own business. I was too screening, as you do, with rugby. Sometimes you get a bit bored. You've been rugbyed out all year. And then next minute, the plot thickened. Left, right, and rhubarb. I just couldn't stop. And I put the phone down and I was drawn in. I wanted Ubi beer just to get it done. But sadly, the teeth up front from Toulouse was just horrible. Jack Willis, Marchand Jolong, just barbaric, just devastating. But shout out to the man, Planet Ben. How did he do it? How did he play that long? I couldn't believe it. And he was getting through work. My God, the man was carrying for his life. played really well. And then Toulouse just rolled off the bench, and it was like guys like Cyril Bay and what's that new? There's a new hooker there as well. He looked horrible, Cremant. He's awful. But yeah, I felt for them. Manny Miafu off the Pine as well. Imagine you're just looking up, and then that behemoth comes on just to put the nails in the coffin. But mate.
Boys, you've both been on the end of those sort of that type of match in a sense. What would hurt more? Last year's where you get pumped in the final, or this year's where you are quite literally just you can touch it, you can smell it. Which is worse?
I reckon it's that. Like you feel more ashamed of the other one, like on a sort of representative level of like.
But there's nothing you could have done about it.
Yeah,
it
you're
was
like,
so far away.
It was so bad. We just deserve it. Whereas that, you're like, every game
we could have had it. We could have had it.
Yeah, exactly. Like every decision you made in that game, every sort of interaction.
You replay it, yeah.
You're just thinking, oh, I could have done that better. Could have done that better. If he'd done that better, and then it's just like eating you up inside, and it's just. Yeah, so
which is the better lash up, right? If you as a losing lash up, which is the better one? You got pumped in a final.
You have more of a laugh. You have more of a quiet, like no, don't let the coaches hear. More of a laugh about the one where you got blown away.
Yeah, the other one is like some players
eat you up.
Don't come back from that for a while. Like it's like breaking up with a long lover. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so emotionally.
Yeah.
It's like the Dementors of the Prison of Azkaban have got you right, and you forgot the Expecto Patronus. That's the sort of like gravity at Top Cato's final, and like losing off of the back of extra time as well, mate.
And also put a couple beers in someone after a loss like that, and someone thinks they've done something wrong, and you just have a little dig at them.
Oh God!
Shit goes down. It's like. Then that's when like scraps start happening.
Yeah,
and
the
you're
truth serum.
Exactly. Give it a little bit of truth serum, and we are fucked. Whereas Max, when you do the other version, when it's like you've been beaten by 60, you can then go, "Oh, fucking, you were good today," and everyone has a laugh about it. You know, there's a bit more of a laugh about it.
Come back to Finley Beelam's hard conversations. That's when the hard.
When
the truth serum happens, right? And then some boys start confronting people they were a little bit too tactful about before, a little bit too diplomatic with, and then it all comes out. Let's wash the dirty laundry, boys. Let's get them
a season long of just keeping your mouth shut about the player that you should have been in his position. And you're sort of like,
do you think people hold on to something and then be like, mate, well, we wouldn't have lost the final last year, and you're like, motherfucker, it's like February.
Every team has them, and the WhatsApp group starts blowing up.
Yeah, and the truth just comes out. The truth just is straight out. So it's good though. It's good for you. It's good.
Wait, what's
it's good
the
for
worst
the team.
dig you've ever had in that? Where one that you just remember and it cut through pretty harshly.
No, well, I mean, I've seen academy boys knocking first team starters out on nights out.
I've not seen that before. That's
like that, and that's even the academy players that have just that player all season just been give it to him in training, and that academy player's like, do you know what? I've had a fucking enough. Wait for the team social at the end of the year. Bumper. I've seen it.
It's Ryan.
I've seen it.
Got knocked out.
It's Ryan every year getting knocked out.
Thankfully, I can say it wasn't me, but yeah, it's a tough one. Good on Schmog though, another top 14. And do you know what? The Bordeaux boys will be sat there with their Champions Cup as well, saying, if we didn't even want it, we got this instead. You know, so they can do that. Yeah.
Aren't you glad the Bordeaux boys though celebrate? You know, there's potentially there might be a club in the world that would be like, we're going for the double. So you take that win, and then we'll celebrate once we've won, and then actually not go out and do the celebration and then lose the final. Whereas they hit it hard. They've had their enjoyment. So good on those boys. Speaking, you just touched upon the Bordeaux. They did get an enjoyment out of winning the Champions Cup. Holy Glasgow have got a tough Champions Cup draw for next year.
Yeah, they have. Toulouse, Sale. Who else is in there?
Clermont,
Saracens.
Fucking
Sarries as well. It's always Sarries, but they'll be okay. They'll be okay. Yeah, the Champions Cup is up and running as well. It's all happening, boys. It's all happening.
Are you, Max? Are you relatively happy with your pool?
I mean, it's still pretty tough. It's Po, Bordeaux, and Bulls. It'd be tough.
And Leinster La Rochelle again as well. Leinster La Rochelle. That's just the normal fixture of European rugby, isn't it? Leinster La Rochelle. They'll be furious, Leinster. Yeah, interesting. Just I said it earlier. Listen, I'm not going to slag it off because I know it's not an easy job. It's on the Sky Sports punditry stuff. Yeah. Thoughts on Will Greenwood's one-liners?
He was getting, he's getting hazed on social. I felt for the man.
He got some pelters.
Who is the dream team Lions punditry team?
Well, throw it in the comments. But do you know what? Barks has not been a Lion, right? And he was actually spoke to me about it. He was like reluctant to take the. He was like, mate, I've not played for the Lions. I just feel a little bit out of place. But
yeah, but he's a really good pundit. So
he's fucking good at his job. I said, mate, he's one of the best at his job. So I'm looking forward to hearing Barks do it. I think he's out there for the actual main tests. But here's another one. Are those people like Will Greenwood and stuff? Are they competing for a test spot?
That's really interesting. In the old punditry Hunger Games.
I'm serious. Like, does that happen?
The punditry battle royale.
Does that happen? Like, is it like, yeah, he was good. The fans like him. He was bad. We're going to push him off. It was, like when Courtney Laws did his bit. You probably.
It's unreal. You've been around like you're like, I'm in a different country. I can just say what I want and then see what happens. Let's just see what happens. It doesn't matter.
Oh, fucking. Anyway, I'm intrigued to see whether they've already made the starting lineup for the test or whether there's a little battle going on.
I will say out here though, over this end.
What, in Thailand?
Not in Thailand. Well, actually, I did watch it via Stan Sport on the VPN, and it's actually, I love Aussie commentators. So here, who have they got here? So Tim Horan, Morgan Turanui, Michael Hooper, and Sean McMahon, who's great as well.
He is loose.
He is funny.
A pundit.
No, I think he's like the commentator. It's like he's brilliant.
No, it's a different Sean McMahon. Thank God. I was thinking you were talking about the ex Wallaby back rower. It's a different Sean McMahon. I know who you're talking about.
Different show. Yeah, no, but they're absolutely hilarious.
What did you think? Because Mark, you were there at the Western Force game. Yeah. Apparently, the stadium announcer I've heard was hilarious.
Absolutely, that is the future.
People were raging. He was giving it, and formerly, Aussie schoolboy,
Aussie schoolboy, exactly, and South African under 20. You're like, oi.
But loads of people on Twitter were going, "Oh, that's disrespectful." No, that's funny. That's Aussie humor, isn't it? That's Aussie humor.
And within the stadium, it was fun. Like as in all the like we're all laughing. We're in sort of Lions section.
I think that's hilarious. Because
it is funny, right? We can't. It's and the Aussies don't. That's what I love when they're there. They don't seem to take themselves that seriously, like Brits do. So therefore, they're just, I don't know. They're just more laid back. They're just better than we are. Just hope they're not better at rugby over those three tests. But it was very funny in the stadium.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, fair. But I actually followed the guy on Instagram because someone had put his thing out, so I went to have a little look for him, and I was like, "Yeah, we need more of that. We need more of that."
Brilliant, boys. That is, in the end, we got through the internet troubles, Ryan's cancellation of himself, and all of the Lions stuff as well. Huge thank you to you both. Max, hope the rehab continues well. And Ryan, I hope you survive the next week being more or less a stay-at-home shared parenting, which for you is a stay-at-home dad in your mind. And to all our listeners, jump in with the comments. We had so many from the last round, but it's felt a couple of weeks away. But there's some very, very funny ones and some great conversations in there. Keep them coming in. But we will see you all next week.
Got it done, boys. Praise the Lord.
More or nothing.